Hello, Cloud Theory friends. For Australia Day, I want to share with you a Raspberry Marshmallow Lamington. I moved to Australia 12 years ago after meeting my Aussie husband Shane in a West Hollywood bar, and one of the first Aussie sweets that I discovered was Lamingtons. And they have been my favorite ever since, especially Raspberry Lamingtons. I just love the taste of tangy raspberry rolled in sweet coconut and was inspired to make a marshmallow version. If you're looking to make a gluten-free Lamington, I highly recommend giving this recipe a go and wowing your guests at your Australia Day festivities. We're going to start by making a basic vanilla marshmallow. We're going to start by preparing the sugar syrup. To do this, you're going to add 300 ml of tap water, then 500 grams of white sugar, you want to give it just a little bit of a stir and then heat it on medium-high until it reaches 115 degrees Celsius or 240 Fahrenheit. So while the marshmallow syrup is boiling away, let's get started on the gelatin mixture. So for the gelatin mixture, you want to add 150 ml of boiling hot water into your stand mixer bowl, and add 30 grams of gelatin. I highly recommend our Cloud Theory gelatin because we have formulated specifically for marshmallows. Take your whisk and mix it so that the gelatin crystals are fully dissolved. And just let it sit for 5 minutes to bloom. Now let's see how our sugar syrup is going. The liquid should be clear and on a rapid boil. At this point, we probably need just another 5 minutes or so. Now that the sugar has reached 115 degrees Celsius or 240 Fahrenheit, we'll turn it off and just let it sit there. And we'll move on to whipping the gelatin. To whip the gelatin, we put our whisk attachment on and start whisking on the highest speed for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the size of your mixer. So the gelatin mixture is ready when it gets frothy like this and pretty much double in volume. So at this point, we can start pouring in the sugar syrup. So I'm gonna put the whisk back and mix it on high again. And slowly pour in the sugar syrup. You want to whisk it for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the size of your mixer, until the batter basically about triples in volume and have the consistency of light whipping cream. So in the last 30 seconds of mixing, just add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. And at this point, you can also prepare your baking tray. I'm using a 20 by 20 by 5 centimeter baking tray. And what you want to do is oil it really well, so this helps you release the marshmallows without damaging it. So put your mixer back on now for the last 30 to 60 seconds. So the batter is ready when it has tripled in volume and have the consistency of light whipping cream. I'm going to show you now. So you see how when you put the whisk in and it's nice and still runny? That's exactly the consistency you want. Now I'm going to pour the mixture into my well-oiled baking tray. You can tap it on your bench top to release any air bubbles and flatten it. And then you want to let it set in room temperature for at least 5 hours. So while the marshmallow is setting, we're going to start on the raspberry glaze. For the raspberry glaze, we want to add 2 teaspoons of gelatin into a small bowl. Add a 1/4 cup of boiling water. Give it a good stir so all the gelatin crystals are dissolved, and just let it bloom for 5 minutes. So we're going to return to the medium saucepan and add 1 cup of tap water. and 285 grams of frozen raspberries. And turn your heat on to medium-high and let it boil for about 5 to 8 minutes. The raspberry mixture is pretty much done when it's nice and dissolved like this. So I'm gonna just strain it over a medium-sized bowl. Use your spatula to lightly strain it through the strainer like this. Now you want to add 2 cups of powdered sugar. Stir to dissolve the powdered sugar. Then add your gelatin mixture and mix well. Now put your raspberry mixture in the fridge and let it cool down for a few hours. Now that our marshmallow is fully set, we're going to cut it. Now, here's a tip for removing your marshmallow from the tray. You want to run your finger just around the rim. And if you oiled it liberally, it should come out really nice, nothing sticky at all. Use the bottom of your hand to remove it and place it on a nice clean chopping board. And another really important tip is dipping your knife into boiling hot water so that you can get clean cuts. So I'm gonna make my first cut here. Take your raspberry glaze icing out of the fridge and add a 1/4 teaspoon of red food coloring. This would just give it more of a red, vibrant pop like raspberry. And stir it really well so that any sugar lumps or gelatin is completely dissolved. What I'm gonna do is just add a tiny bit of pink food coloring to our desiccated coconut, just to give it a bit more of a raspberry color. So I'm just gonna add a little bit, just a little splash, like a little bit less than 1/4. And then, using gloves, just mix it really well. Now we are ready to assemble. So grab one of your marshmallow. It's so nice and fluffy. Dip it into the icing. Or sorry, I've been calling it icing. It's a glaze, so a raspberry glaze. And then dip it into the desiccated coconut. And just repeat until you get through all the marshmallow pieces. So let's take a piece and cut it in half and see what it looks like inside. Beautiful. Doesn't that look just like a real lamington? I'm gonna have a taste. Wow. So fluffy, so soft, so delicate. I really think you should give it a try. I hope you enjoyed making our raspberry marshmallow lamington. Join us next time for more marshmallow creations.